Cool. So, way to duck the intro there. Spawn, Legacy Mammoth. Mammoth looked to bounce back. So we're Legacy.
I don't know, as a commentator, how I am supposed to participate in a segment like that last segment and then just be expected to broadcast a serious game.
Well, what if the game wasn't serious?
Yeah, maybe it's the case. But this one is serious. It's going to be Mammoth versus Legacy. And the only team that Mammoth has beaten... Well, have they beaten two teams or one team?
Yeah, no, they're 2-5 right now.
I think they beat... Did they beat Gravitas and Legacy?
I'm going to scroll back my notes.
Bryce,
I think they beat...
Did you lose to Mammoth? Yes. So
okay,
Gravitas and Legacy.
Yeah.
So second time around...
Wait, that was a team comp.
It certainly was. Second time around. Going to be very excited to see how they go.
Oh, we're already in picks and bans. Holy crap. Okay, so Legacy going to start things off. We've got the Lucian Akali banned away and a Yasuo ban by Mammoth.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Chaz is a big Yasuo player. And I think that taking away volatility, if you're a better team in your own mind, that's a good strategy to go for.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Cassiopeia is probably not making it out of the ban column anymore, not after what Raid was able to do earlier today.
Once again, I don't think it was a Cassiopeia, but we'll move on. I think that it's just one of those bans that, like, if you don't have a good answer to it, like, then it's just very, very safe on red side because you're assuming it's going to be first pick every single time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So we've seen a lot of these like power picks that sometimes do appear on red side or actually on the blue side ban, like the Akali, like the Aatrox. I guess Aatrox is blue side ban a lot too, though. Yeah,
and I mean, this just shows me that they prioritize Urgot over Aatrox. I think the Akali pick makes a lot of sense because it's one of those picks that they probably haven't played a whole lot in solo queue this week, given the fact that she got gutted and now is on like 36% win rate.
Yeah, and this is the last week we'll have a 9.2 here in the OPL. So with that, Legacy going with the idea of picking their jungler first in this one.
I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to either take Urgot or Lissandra.
There we go.
And that makes a lot of sense because Sion's still up and available, so even if Top Boon does go Urgot here, which Order baited like this exact same trade yesterday against Mammoth because they trusted the fact that Top Boon couldn't play Urgot to the highest level. If he takes the Sion, or better yet, a carry matchup, then you legitimately get Lissandra Urgot for free on blue side, which is very hard to manufacture in a draft.
I think that's very fair. So the Kai'Sa has been, one of these big AD carry picks. It comes in very early this time around for Mammoth, so King gets that lock in. And you were talking about King kind of having a rougher split than a lot of the other high caliber AD carry players.
Yeah, absolutely, but I'm not going to talk about that now. I want to talk about the blue side ban, actually. We've seen for every week leading up to this that Alistar has been a blue side ban because otherwise you can pick him in the third slot and you can ban away the two answers. Now, Order didn't do that, and a couple of other teams haven't done that, and instead they're trying to take an answer to Alistar in their third slot on blue side. It becomes very risky if you play against a ranged support player, however. I think that Destiny is one of those people that has a very deep champion pool. They have had to give up the Lissandra Urgot here, so if Alistar is locked in, they're going to have a very good team fight comp. I want to know what Destiny plays against this kind of lineup.
I think that will be a pretty big question to answer, but for Legacy, they're kind of getting their hands on some more stock standard stuff as the Braum might just come in here. It does get locked away, but yeah, like for me, the big surprise is almost that like, hey, Paprise gets to play like this like OP, like strong top pick that isn't like some kind of crazy pocket choice.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, he is a very good top laner. Also, it could be Chaz on the Urgot, Paprise
That's true.
on the Lissandra if they want to get super flexy with it. They're both kind of just the best lockdown tanks in their role. I say tank for Lissandra in quotation mark because she runs Aftershock and is kind of tanky for the first half of the game. And really interested that Top Boon actually goes towards Sion because he has shown much more of a propensity to want to play the carry matchups. He solo killed Swiper on the Aurelia into Urgot matchup, and even though it wasn't available this game, I'm sure that he has more than that one champion that he'd like to take into it.
Yeah, playing, I guess, a little bit more safe for sure. Now, into ban phase 2, we have the Alistar ban coming out for Legacy, as you were alluding to might happen. Elise also banned up by Mammoth, so starting to dig a little further into the jungle pool. Olaf now banned away from Guts as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting, right? They're trusting that Guts doesn't play the Kayn because Kayn is a better tempo jungler than Elise. However, as we already mentioned, Elise is kind of really good into these frontliners that have to run straight at you because you can stop the team fight from happening if played ideally. And they get rid of all of Destiny's champion pool. So I hope Destiny has something hidden away because otherwise this could be a very rough pick ban for the second time in the weekend for the support of Mammoth.
Could be. I mean, do you think this is a situation where maybe he wants to pull out like Morgana or something? Or wait a minute, it's the Rakan coming out at him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Core JJ played Rakan like immediately after he was nerfed. A little bit different. He has a skin for the champion, so I assume is very comfortable on it. In saying that, Destiny now playing it.
Whoa! That's a Vayne.
Hey, that is
All
a
right.
Vayne.
Cool. Let's talk
That's
about that.
a
Vayne
Gragas.
Gragas. Vayne Gragas. Oh, that's a Gragas in the jungle.
It absolutely is. And I was having a chat to Spooks during the week, and he said back in the day you would play 40% cooldown reduction, full tank Gragas. You know, you would go something like Warmogs, you know, maybe a Night Vow in there as well. You would like just slowly build your CDR up, and then you just sit on top of these tanks and you just body slam them away time and time again. And it's kind of how you would deal with these kinds of things. In saying that, lately, Gragas has been seeing me as like a AP burst option, and he doesn't really have that many good targets at the moment. I mean, there's double tanks on the lineup of Mammoth and 2 fairly mobile carries as well. So going to be interested to see whether Guts can actually get anything done in this early game.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on him for certain, but I'm definitely very keen to see how this Vayne works out. So Legacy kind of continuing this trend of always having at least something surprising, something a little bit different, but this time it's in the hands of Praedyth on this Vayne. And we'll get to see probably a lot of him because our POV stream is actually going to be crazy. So I want to see a little bit of Vayne Braum action. Tune into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Vayne's something that has been played a lot actually in solo queue. The Hella Blades changes made her pretty good. She got buffed as well. The ultimate changes somehow went through. Didn't put her over the edge like a lot of people were afraid of. However, you know, against something like a Scion as well as a Zac, if you're able to go Blade of the Ruined King into Ginsu's, he's going to be able to deal with that front line pretty quickly. So, I mean, I like what Praedyth has picked up here for himself. I think that it's got a fine lane into both Kai'Sa as well as New Rakan. So, hopefully he can pull it off and make it work.
Well, that is the big hope for certain. Both of these teams are definitely looking to try and bounce back from what has been a rough split for them, but I think the pressure's got to be much more on Mammoth at the moment because they had such high expectations coming into the split, and I think that's kind of the issue here. Is like, are we going to see Mammoth start to get back on the board here, or is Legacy actually going to start taking the drive?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, you know, second time through the round robin now, Mammoth starting off for Legacy. They were able to beat them the first time around, and I think that, you know, this is where they need to start rebuilding.
Yeah, we'll see. And we are joined by Mammoth's coach Fantix. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, good stuff. Let's get right into it. You guys picked the Vayne. How long have you been
No,
prepping
they didn't.
this?
They're on the other side.
Excuse me, wrong side. You're picked against the Vayne. Were you surprised to see it?
Not really. I guess, you know, people don't really want to like opt into like the Ezreal matchup as much these days anymore. So yeah, I fully expect a team like Legacy to just throw a curveball like that.
And I guess from my end, you know, no beating around the bush. Definitely not the start that you guys would have hoped for. What is the mood like in the camp, and what are you guys trying to do to, you know, put the season back on track?
Yeah, just to be completely honest, we sucked week 2 and week 3. We were just bad. But at the same time, the mood isn't bad at all. The players are still determined to get to where we want to be at. And I think this week's loss against Order was probably the only one that actually surprised us, because this week's preparation was really good. Everyone was feeling really confident going to this week's match. Yeah, but of course, yeah, not the start that we wanted.
And talk to me about Tophoon, because he's a super exciting young player. He's South Korean, I believe, and he's been around in solo queue for a while. You played, after Origin, you played top lane for a couple of splits as well. What's it been like mentoring such a promising young and up-and-coming player?
It's been good. He's really, if he ever makes a mistake, he really takes it to heart. So I love seeing a player like that just wants to take action immediately.
And I guess, talk to me about, you know, now the fact that, I mean, it's such a long OPL season. All the other OPL seasons, you played one best of 3 a weekend. Now, you know, you played 21 games across the back end of it. Where are you hoping to get back to, and what would you now take as like a successful split going into Gauntlet?
I actually don't. I'm not looking too much at the numbers, like number of wins and losses. As long as we make Gauntlet in a position where we feel comfortable with our gameplay, that's where I'll be happy.
Cool. Well, what would it take to, you think, get you guys there? Like, what's the biggest thing that needs to improve for Mammoth?
Confidence on stage. I think they are still playing a little bit too reserved. We're in a bad position already, so I think it's playing on them a little bit that, you know, they don't really want to lose, get into a deeper hole. And because of that, yeah, they're just playing a little bit too reserved on stage.
See how that changes over the course of the day, over the course of the split. Thank you so much for joining us, Fantix.
Thank you very much.
All right, so it has been a pretty quiet start here, Spawn.
Yeah, the most boring early game all day.
Yeah, no, we had so many crazy back and forths in the first 2 games. This is just all normal.
It certainly is. I really like that ward coming out of triple, however. We'll know exactly what path Guts is on. Bottom lane would have leashed, and now the fact that they've given away the Raptors are down means that, I'm not going to waste any of Babip's time. Babip also going to be on a fairly quick path because he has a Scuttle Crab to pick up, whereas Guts is right now on his blue buff. Actually killed it quicker. That's super. He used a smite charge. What a cheater.
He was cheating using his summoner spells. Let's talk a little bit more about Jungle Gragas because it has been more of a support pick recently, and it's been a little bit of time, I think, since that's been like the stock standard like jungle tank choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as I said, it has been seen more as let's hold that thought. Not going to be able to get out. It has been seen a lot more as an AP burst mage coming out of the jungle. Has a really quick clear with the Runic Echoes. So I'm interested to see whether Guts does go towards that in Azonia's Hourglass, or whether, this is potentially throwback to tank Gragas into Zac, which was a really good matchup for Gragas. I think that it's still with the Predator build, he's one of the best ganking junglers. Nothing really changed there. Quite speedy. We'll be able to get in behind you if you overextend in lanes. Got some good lockdown CC coming through from Paprise as well as Chaz. So maybe it's just one of those picks that they're looking to camp the heck out of the top side of the map and maybe try and generate a lead and just allow Praedyth and Crazy to scale into their mid game.
Should be the goal. They want to get that Vayne as far ahead as they possibly can. On the flip side, though, Mammoth, they have some pretty good engagement tools themselves and good amounts of CC. You have to wonder when they're going to try to start using it. And we've seen Scions back and going into the opposite lane, making big plays. That Vayne should be a pretty juicy target for the Mammoth side.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to ult a Vayne. As soon as she has ult, she's out of there. She moves top speed. And good Vayne players will be able to pop invisibility and go unpredictable directions, whether that's front or backwards or forward. So I would like to see the play, don't get me wrong, especially if Praedyth hasn't yet dinked over to that level 6. It can certainly be successful. But I think that, this is the thing about Destiny and King's Lane is that they're playing into one of the most mobile carries in the game that only gets more so as the game progresses. So they're going to need to be careful because just like the Jinx, you give Vayne a couple of kills in the laning phase, it can be quite difficult.
Yeah, starts to pop off pretty crazy. Now, the last time these two teams met, it was back in week 2, right? So it wasn't obviously that long ago since we've just now kind of ticked over our first round robin and into the second. Legacy actually, I think, had a decent start to that one, but it was Mammoth that just kind of rallied and moved around the map a lot faster and really frustrated Legacy a lot. Yeah,
from memory, that was one of the games that Destiny played a really large impact in the mid to late game. So I want to see, whether he can get back on the winning ways. I really like the fact that he's still just playing engage. I think that's what this team needs. Richard mentioned it himself. They need decisiveness. They need to be bold and courageous when they look for their plays. And I think that he certainly gives that to them on an engaged threat. This is a good window right now for Paprise to actually potentially look top lane. No, not going to, because top lane gets level 6. Whenever you ding level 6 first and you can bring your jungler up, especially given the fact that Gragas has boots, potential to impact that lane. But yeah, I think that Legacy are one of those teams that kind of, unfortunately, is slowing down, actually, as the split has progressed. And you could probably say the same thing about Mammoth. So both of these teams should be thinking, if we get a victory here, we are going to, edge ourselves closer to that 5th place Gauntlet team, especially now given the fact that Gravitax actually just picked a win up against a team above them on the ladder, which no one else apart from Direwolves in the bottom 4 has been able to do. It means that Gravitas actually is a win clear right now of the Mammoth lineup, and therefore, Mammoth, at this stage, if playoffs were to happen right now, wouldn't even make Gauntlet.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of answers that need to be searched for here by the Mammoth side, but there is time to make it happen. It's all about turning the momentum in your favor, and this is, I think as Rusty pointed it out earlier in the day, kind of a huge must-win, just for either side, because that does start to turn your fortunes around. Both teams have been on losing streaks.
Yeah, well, the thing is because Legacy's only won one game, is if they don't win this game, they're running out of teams of similar skill level, I put it in air quotation marks, to be able to face to get those even footing wins. It means it becomes an uphill battle. You're expected to therefore take a game off someone like an Order, an Avant, a Chiefs, or a Bombers, right now who look like the top 4 teams, to be able to take that one out. And I think that they've tried, they've thrown some really good curveballs, but it just has not seen the success they want so far. And Denny even mentioned it, there's a lot of pressure on these players. Legacy is not an organization that is used to losing.
That's true. Even when they fell out of the legendary kind of status from a couple of years back. They were having some
this
hard
could be
time.
a solo kill.
Paprise, though, starts that fight off on Tapoon. He zooms away. Oh yeah, Legacy, they've never been like worse than like a 4th or 5th place team at the worst we've seen them.
Yeah, I don't even know if they've finished the split below 3rd, to be honest, Pyra.
Were they 3rd place? I thought they were like a 4th place last split.
No, they beat
No, you're
Order
right, you're right.
twice
They
in the
were
gauntlet.
no,
Trust me,
you're
I
right.
know very well
You're right.
where
You have
the
the
Legacy
record.
lineup finished.
You have the record. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, so Legacy have been a solid team throughout their history, and this is a very different lineup and a very, very poor start for them.
But the difference was, right, is like last year it was a very different team as well. Carbon retired. They changed their jungle position around a couple of times as well, but they were still able to make it work with players like Mimic and Claire really coming to the forefront. This has kind of been the first time where you would say that they don't have a superstar, although I think that Paprise certainly can fulfill that role in the right meta. Unfortunately, for all top laners right now, it's just boring tank meta. So yeah, it's really interesting to see how this young squad responds because, as you know, we keep mentioning, you know, Legacy, Adelaide Crows, every iteration have always been a good OPL side.
There's still time for them to turn that around, but you're right. You know, there has to be somebody stepping up to make it happen. If it's not Paprise, you know, the question becomes who. We have players on this lineup that have role swapped, that have gone into less comfortable positions, so they kind of already got off to a less certain start. And speaking of uncertain starts, that is not what you want to see. Guts gets the blue on accident.
Yeah, that's really bad actually, because all of a sudden, Lissandra, who I mentioned last game, really suffers with mana problems, isn't going to have a blue to match Zoe, and Zoe's push is obnoxious. It's actually one of the reasons that she beats out Lissandra in the mid lane. So Chaz might even have to look for a reset right now on the next blue buff, try and push a cheeky wave here and be able to get back to it. Otherwise, Triple will just be able to lock him underneath this turret.
Yeah, that feels bad, man. Triple chasing him down, throws out the bubble. Jazz is zoomed away. So it is super quiet start, like I pointed to. It's not a big lead, but like these little things are going to count for so much if they just start rolling downhill. And yeah, Triple is going to have no problem getting his own blue buff.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Ducks over there, gets himself to level 9 as well. Already nearly 20 CS up. Triple having a very good game. I think this is back-to-back Zoe games for Triple. Played the exact same matchup yesterday, in fact. However, what I will say is that Direwolves were able to play really slow versus Mammoth and actually edge themselves out a win in the end after, you know, as we keep mentioning, triple Infernal, triple Elder, double Baron buff, like just a crazy all-round game, right? So I'm interested to see that Mammoth is still happy to play slow. This game, they certainly have a good scaling clock, but at the same time, Vayne outscales everything in League of Legends. Just true damage on her W is obnoxious with Ginsu's.
Yeah, they can't afford to get caught complacent, right? Mammoth, and that's one of the problems that Fantix pointed out to is it's a confidence thing, but that means if you never step up to the plate, somebody's going to do it for you.
Well, it's what Rusty was saying. Like, he would rather have to tell a player to not flash forward than tell a player to flash forward because one is much easier to form a habit on. You know, threat assessment is very easy to teach, where killer instinct can at times be quite difficult. So, yeah, it's just about whether, you know, Triple without Shern and King without Shern and Destiny and Babip without someone like Swiper and Raze, who are both very vocal shot callers, can develop that killer instinct as a team.
There's the question. But this is the game it has to happen in for sure. Legacy.
Yep, well, the best time to
against them.
plan a tree was 10 years ago, and the second best time is now.
Right now. See if they make it happen.
Yeah, certainly need to be able to turn the corner eventually.
I thought you were going on like a Legacy, like tree pun or something.
Absolutely, I don't do puns.
Not pun, but like
wordplay is awful, Pyra. No one enjoys wordplay.
That's very subjective, my friend.
Come on.
I just love that it tilts you. That's always fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're one of those people that gets enjoyment out of making other people miserable.
Only when it's as a result of wordplay.
Okay. So wordplay misery is
fantastic.
Okay.
You should enjoy it.
Disagree. Guts now, bottom lane, however, potentially looking for a gank.
Yeah, he's waiting in the wings here.
They have ultimates available.
It's a pretty big push here for King and Destiny, just chipping away at the turret plane. Not stepping too far forward, though. They are playing still pretty cautious, not going for anything unnecessary.
Guts has also gone AP build as well. So if he ever gets on top of King or Destiny, he just kills them instantly. But didn't think he had the tools to be able to do so there. All summoner spells available in the bottom lane. I would have liked to see Legacy force that play, to be honest, because they kind of had an inkling that Babip was nowhere near the top side of the map. But they don't force it. Instead, they're just going to let the slow scaling continue.
Just allow it to ease its way forward. Now here is where things will start to happen with the map control going the way it is. Mammoth have the opening to take the Rift Herald, and Babip is going to very easily grab it.
Well, the problem is that Legacy are just bleeding out right now. They've lost mid lane, meanwhile.
Try to turn it around. Maybe Triple does get caught out. He has to burn his own set of summoner spells.
Why didn't Guts ulti?
Yeah, that was a bit weird. All right, and meanwhile up top, Tapoon is defensively zooming back to his own base.
Yeah,
so this is just a non-aggression pact, this game.
I mean, Smite was available for Guts and probably could have landed that ulti to knock him back. Would have been potential kill there. What I was mentioning is they're slowly just losing this game. They've lost the first dragon. They've lost 2 turret plates in every single lane. There's just slow incremental gold leads. You know, CS, 20 CS in bottom, 20 CS in mid. That is just going the way of Mammoth. And I hope that Legacy don't let this game just, you know, slowly fall away.
Yeah, flash already burned by Paprise, which means Babip comes in and gets him abducted. We're finally going to have first blood, it looks like. Paprise trying to walk away, but not going to happen. It's Babip that takes him down.
Yeah, it certainly is. So Justice turret plating about to fall. They're going to channel the Rift Herald in as well. And if the charge goes off, this will be big damage and gold swing in favor of the Mammoth top laner.
Here we go. Shelly charges in, so they clear away all the turret plating. Should be able to grab first brick very easily. No answer here from Legacy, and as you said, they're just bleeding out.
This is the problem with doing nothing, is that you're letting a Zac, Sion, Zoe top side of the map just get away with brutally pushing in lanes and, you know, creating advantages for their team. They also get a charge onto the tier 2. You can see they've pulled Chaz out of his rotation. That means bottom lane is certainly susceptible to ganks right now. Just everything kind of going poorly for the Legacy lineup right now. And
they need to find an answer. They need to find something here because, you know, if Mammoth are planting the tree, Legacy are just watching it grow.
I mean, I don't know if they can do it, but if spectators can just toggle Legacy's vision right now, like, you'll see why they're not going for play. That's what they see. They see no top laner, they see no jungler, and they have 0 neutral wards in vision. Now that Triple ducks into Fog of War, they literally see nothing. So they have to just see control of the entire map. This has just been a stranglehold put in for a Mammoth. This is like watching Khabib fight McGregor, like they're just wearing him down.
Just over and over. Yeah, so like I feel like Legacy, all of a sudden, their game plan just becomes, all right, we need to wait until the Vayne becomes big, but that's a long time away.
I mean, you can't do that. Like, the days of let's just scale are well and truly dead. Baron buff is a completely different monster now, and empowers creeps. You know, they've got 5 minutes to find a play. If they have this little control around the map at that stage, they'll just like 2 or 3 man Baron and continue to push 2 waves.
Sounds like they're waiting for Mammoth to make a mistake, which is not keen to happen.
Well, the thing about Mammoth's gameplay is that they haven't played to make mistakes. They've also played slow. And you can see this is another dragon that a Zac is soloing.
Yeah, that's happening. And there's no answer. Legacy's ceding ground. I wonder if Mammoth will start getting a little bolder when they realize that Legacy just aren't offering any resistance here.
I mean, there's no point, right? As I said, they're just winning laning phase through CS lead. So, I mean, potentially now that Zac is getting closer to level 11, he's got all the ranks into his elastic slingshot that he wants. He can, you know, try and camp out lanes a little bit heavier. But, I mean, he's just been allowed to freely scale as the tank matchup.
Yep, Chaz gonna get hopped on. Oh, he still gets stuck on the goo. And Babip and Triple, they're going to make him drowsy for a second. Here comes the Paddle Star, but it's actually going to miss the last second of the duration on his... Well, he still goes down anyways.
Yeah, there's no way that he lives there. I mean, this isn't going to be a Proto Belt. This is Lunar Echo as they go mid lane.
And they're going to be able to find as much damage onto Praedyth as they want. He does flash away out of harm's way, but Tapoon's even in there. Might have overstepped his boundaries just a little bit, so Legacy are going to be able to find a kill. It goes over to Paprise.
Yeah, and that's the mistake that maybe you said that they were waiting for. They dive a turret against a Vayne, and unfortunately, if you don't kill a Vayne in the initial CC, you just don't hit her with any more. Goes invisible, tumbles around. Very nice response play coming out of Paprise. Finally, some signs of life from this Legacy lineup. It was a counter punch, but at least they threw something.
Yeah, you don't want to just keep taking the hits. Instead, Legacy do answer back. They find a kill in their pocket that's given over to the Urgot, so perhaps Paprise will become the big carry threat if that's the game plan for now.
Really hard to carry games solo as Urgot, because he's kind of caught between the tank and the damage position. You know, flies back.
He's in a weird space.
Yeah, it can go something like a GA. I mean, we saw earlier today, Tally had like 5 kills on the pickup. However, when it's coupled with something else, as we've seen, you know, Mimic and Ryoma play this exact combo, the Urgot Lysandra, then it can really start to take over. If you have someone that is going to burst out 80% of a health bar, give you a free fear execute, and then just keep you in the team fight with chain CC, I mean, he does a lot of damage with those shotgun knees.
Never want to get too close to him, that's for sure. Mammoth still have the advantage, though, in this game. Gold lead of 3,000. Couple of dragons. Not the big fighting dragons, but the regen and movement varieties. Game's reset a little bit. There is going to be the sleep on the Vayne, and in comes Babbitt once again. Here comes King and Destiny to try and close the trap. They do.
And that's what I was saying. You got to kill the Vayne in the first round of CC. Very well layered there from the Mammoth lineup. They're going to be able to get themselves the mid lane turret. That's going to be the entire out of ring down. 4,000 gold right now is going to be their lead, and you can see that they're just slowly whittling away and continuing to keep control of their area of the map. They're playing very heavily to top side right now. You can see that Legacy have been able to rescue Vision bottom side of the map. There is nothing there, and everything on Baron side of the map right now belongs to the Mammoth lineup.
Doesn't seem like it's changing anytime soon. Vision game, Mammoth been consistently creeping forward into Legacy jungle territory and grabbing as much as they can. There is the Vision game for them. It's just, you know, close to 2/3 of the map that they've have locked up, and Legacy still finding a hard time getting Vision outside of it. They do have a little bit in the river, but that's about it. And that's not the side of the river you want, because Baron's going to be up in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is going to be a dragon in minute 40. Didn't see whether it was a good one. It's just an ocean one, so they probably don't even want that. Mammoth would take it to tick it over towards Elder even quicker. But I think, like, right now, you're looking to gain control of an area with someone like Lysandra and, you know, potentially Praetor, and just trying to cheese a brush, because you need to get a temporary numbers advantage on the map somewhere if you're Legacy to be able to generate any form of momentum in this game. This is why it's so important that they have their line of pink ward set up, even if it is only to their blue buff, and they try and hold Vision somewhere against the Mammoth lineup.
It's going to be critical the next several minutes to see how they execute on it for sure.
Well, Praetor can't fight right now because he's like a half an item behind, but it's a crucial half an item in that Ginsu. So he's going to want to just continue to scale up, and Ginsu is a very expensive item, you know, made up of nearly 2,000 gold components, and combined cost as well. So I think, you know, next 5-6 minutes, they're going to want to stall Baron because he's only got 600 gold. My God, he is so far behind, 2,000 gold behind.
Yikes.
I don't even know if they can wait. This game is just, it is so hard to approach that Baron buff.
I mean, Mammoth are going to force their hand sooner or later. The question is when.
Well, the thing with Zach is, like, he's just going to sit there and he's going to hit Baron. He's going to get some health back from blobs. And they've got themselves a Zoe that they're just going to shoot bubbles down walls and, you know, look for the pit. They don't even need Top Boon to rotate to the play. This is a multi-tank comp.
Just allow. Continued pushing here. Babbitt will join up with Triple. I mean, that tower, second tier 2 is already low because remember, Shelly got to charge into it a while back. And it's kind of been, Chaz has just been on like side wave duty consistently this game. He's not really been allowed to get involved and get the chase down. Any engagement that Legacy would want, it hasn't really been happening on their terms at all.
Yeah, well, this just isn't an OPL game. You know, we're looking at a game at 21 minutes that has 4 kills.
Yeah, it's very, very
reserved, slow, whatever you want to call it. Like, this just seems to be a style that Mammoth is opting into on stage. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I mean, in this situation, when you have Scion Zach Kaiser, who's got a 60 CS lead now, why not just play to scale? I mean, you're half an item, a full item right now, ahead of your counterpart, which is a Vayne. She is so reliant on items, brings next to no utilities to a team fight.
Yeah, this definitely will work against Legacy, it seems, but I wonder, is this kind of strategy going to work against a lot of other teams in the OPL? And I think so far the answer for Mammoth has been no.
Yeah, it's been a resounding no so far. They've not been able to force plays on any of the top dogs, and you got to remember that Mammoth aren't measuring themselves against, you know, Legacy and Direwolves, even though some would argue right now they should be. They're going to be measuring themselves against Avant, Bombers, and Chiefs. Yeah. And so far, they haven't been able to pick up clean, good, like any form of rhythm against any of those teams.
I think that's kind of surprising, especially considering the name recognition on the Mammoth side. I mean, this is a team made up of, for the most part, really well-known and veteran OPO players.
Yeah, I think everyone had this team in their top 2. I think that people thought that Mammoth and Chiefs were going to be the 2 most ready-made, and Bombers probably had the most upside. All of the bottoms half of this map, apart from Topoon, these guys have all played together. So, you know, they should be a ready-made combo to go, but it just has not been the case so far.
It has been a big surprise so far, for sure. Once again, Mammoth still moving around, not quite committing to starting the Baron off yet, but they have been securing a lot of vision. Some of it does fade away, and you can see Legacy have found little pockets that they've been able to secure a little bit here. Babbitt does jump in, solo onto the Baron, so perhaps the team's going to come and join and set up here. We might actually be in for some action after 23.5 minutes.
Yeah, and the thing is that Babip only has tabbies. However, he does have Warmog. So if they ever approach and see it, and they want to back off it, it's going to be a couple of seconds before he's back to full health. And they just continually do this. I mean, they can just sit here in Fog of War and continually look to pressure. Going to sweep out even more vision, and Triple can just play one-man goalie, because if a bubble lands on anyone that isn't probably Urgot at this stage, they just die.
Yep, and they might want to go for it. Instead, it's going to be Legacy trying to back away.
Well, this is a really crucial point in the game, because Legacy now have equal firepower, even though their 80 carry is 80 CS and a kill down. So if they fight right now, there is more defensive options for King. He's got himself a QSS. But in terms of how hard they hit each other, you know, apart from the 2 levels and the base stats there, they hit pretty much exactly the same. So if I'm Legacy, I'm looking to force a play around, you know, these Baron starts right now. And Babip just continually leashing this Baron out. I mean, this is kind of free damage that he's taking for no real reason right now.
King will join in, though, and it looks like they'll finally commit to this
half health already.
Yeah, he started really early. They might be able to secure this because there's just no answer from Legacy, though.
It is still relatively slow, 6,000 health, and they will start to move in. No teleport ward available.
All right, this is going to be just going down. Yep, before they can even get too deep. Legacy don't even opt to go as far to check it. Instead, they just throw down a couple of wards. They get the telltale global notification. And Mammoth walk away with the Baron.
And now they're in big trouble, because King's going to go back and complete a Zeal item nearly. And that's going to put him, once again, a full item ahead. Actually, just go Zeal stopwatch. That is such a defensive build coming out of the Kai'Sa, but why the hell not when you're this far ahead?
Not to mention, the tank's just getting tankier. Like, look at those beefy boys between Tapoon and Babip right now. As long as they stay on the front line, it's going to be very hard for even for like a Vayne to kill them, because only on 2 items, of course, the Silver Bolt's not going to be doing enough.
I mean, we'll see. Like, we're going to get a team fight. Obviously, percentage true damage is going to be, you know, a big deal, and it's going to proc off every second auto attack. That's why Ginsu is so important. As now bottom lane, they're looking for it, as well as mid lane.
Yeah, Paprise does get caught out, 1v2. Meanwhile, in the mid, looks like Legacy trying to force the fight there, but it's Mammoth backing away. And now they're going to be making a beeline down towards the bottom, but Paprise might just be going down. He has no summoner spells, trying to sidestep out the damage, but Babip flashes forward. Now teleport comes through. It's going to be followed, though. Guts is here as well. The rest of Mammoth are coming to the rescue, and the Zac is going to be bouncing his way out of harm's way. The Vayne getting blown up, so is the Braum. And all of a sudden, Mammoth, they just turn it on. Look at the advantages that they have coming to bear here. Looking for Chaz. Getting very low. The chase is still through, and they find him. King with the finishing blow. Guts now. Nowhere for him to go either, as he's caught out with nobody left in the team.
Oh, King nearly falls down to a turret shot on the back end, but in the end, they get the clean ace. They've got themselves the Baron buff. There is a wave already prepared, and they will push in and break the base.
No answer available, as everyone's still dead at this point. Still 9 seconds on Crazy. Same for Pradith. This is going to be the breaking of the base. How far can Mammoth go with the wave?
This is a dangerous end. There are 3 members up and available. There is very low health bars on a couple of members. See whether they can stop this.
Yeah, here we go. Crazy. He just gets jumped on, blown up. Oh, not enough damage from those turret shots, and Pradith just doesn't do enough in the final hour. He's going to get chunked down under Fountain, and this should be the end of the game. It looked like we were going to be in for maybe a longer one with the way Mammoth was playing defensively, but they crush any opposition underfoot from Legacy here. And it's going to be Chaz just trying to stall out as he flashes away after the duration of the Frozen Tomb. Triple playing goalkeeper on the Fountain, and the Nexus is going down to 0. Guts even gets chunked out while he's sitting on top of that Fountain. Triple just playing for a little bit of fun here, and they'll pad those stats as they take the game at 26.5.
And that was a closeout of a great team right there. What you just saw Mammoth do, pick up a 1 Baron buff, win 1 team fight, and end the game at 26 minutes is so incredibly hard to do. Not against the best opponents in Legacy, but that is promising signs for the Mammoth lineup. Finally getting some semblance of a mid-game together where they held vision for an extended period of time, got a 3 Baron into an immediate closeout.
Yeah, they gave no opportunity for Legacy to really react in anything resembling safety, and Legacy didn't, so Mammoth just said, all right, we'll take this. It took him a little while of sniffing around. It's kind of like a wounded animal, like coming after some meat. Just, okay, no one's touching it. No? Gonna go in? They grab the Baron? They marched it down.
Yeah, in saying that, I think that there were many opportunities where that Gragas could have got busy on Summoner's Rift. Like, we saw a Gragas, who is one of the best early game gankers, especially when Flash is available, I think have one gank attempt in mid lane where he didn't throw his cask. I actually don't know whether Guts altered that whole game until maybe the last team fight. Like, I didn't see him ult. So, I mean, that, like, if I'm Legacy's coaching staff, you know, Denny, and I'm pretty frustrated with how that game went because I feel like they had tools in certain lanes to be able to force the pressure. We saw Paprise force, like, the first 3 Scion ults out defensively from top earn, but they just weren't able to build anything from that. And, you know, 2 Dragons soloed out by a Zac, a Rift Herald soloed out by a Zac. This isn't a tempo jungler. This isn't like a Kindred or something like that.
Yeah, it was so slow. He took it bit by bit.
Absolutely. He just like slowly, methodically worked his way around the jungle and kind of beat him to death in the end with his weird flubbery arms.
On that note, back to the couch.
Weird flubbery arms, indeed. Well, despite the, you know, potentially easy matchup, Mammoth are getting their split potentially back on track.
Yeah.
We said this was a very important, this was a very important game for Mammoth and for Legacy, and it was for very different reasons. For Mammoth, it's always about course correction. It's always about finding your footing again in the league. And Fantix even mentioned in the interview, you know, confidence was a big thing. And getting a win, regardless of who the team is, getting a win on stage right now is confidence. It could be the block in the road there that's finally gone and actually allows Mammoth to continue forwards and really start their run.
Because I think Mammoth is a team that every team in the OPL like still respects as the potential to be very good. And I really like how Fantix is so frank in like the interview. Jake's asked me the question. He's like, yeah, you know what? Like, we just sucked in week 1 and 2. Like, it just wasn't good enough. And they're very frank with themselves. And like a win here, it did have to start here. If they're losing games to Legacy, then it would have been disastrous. And like, it's not the best win by any means, but it is the starting point that it had to be.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, it's not the best win, but what are Legacy taking away from this? You know, what are the 2 things they're going home tonight going, well, we should have, number 1, cast that ult. Number 2.
Well, that's the thing. This is one of those frustrating losses where it's hard to take much out of it because like just not much happened. There weren't like many proactive moves that they were looking for. It was just like the slow grind, which once like Baron is up and available, you could like a team getting grinded out is kind of acceptable. But getting to that stage without realistically looking for too much, Jake said it best, like Gragas Flash E, in metas gone past, has been the best level 2 ganker, has been the best early ganker. He can be first, he can be second to a play and always be useful, but he just never really eventuated. So it is hard to take things away from that loss.
Yeah, I don't think Legacy get a whole lot from that one other than we need to go fresh into the new week and start again because games like that are just slow defeats and they're the worst.
Because I also think like there's some interesting stuff to talk about that game. I really like from Mammoth's point of view that like Destiny is still picking Rakan. We've seen it internationally, but this is one of those nerfs where everyone's like, man, Rakan is garbage. And it's like, well, he was already bad in certain matchups, and now he's probably a little bit worse, but you don't pick him to win those anyway. So it's cool to see Destiny pull that pick out. But I think also from Legacy, it's kind of like they're a team who can just do weird stuff, right? Like they have Praedyth in the bottom lane. Like, why aren't they opening him up and playing mages, playing weird things? It's always a blind pick Braum from Crazy. That's getting predictable, and you're just setting yourself up for a losing lane.
It's
so
even getting banned from them. Like they know that Crazy is one tricking, so some people just ban it to exploit them further.
It's sort of like I feel like it is maybe getting to that point where they just need to start throwing more curveballs because they're a team that can do that. Paprise can play weird carry picks on the top lane. Like standard stuff isn't necessarily working, which might be their process, which you can respect. It's like, let's learn the game fundamentally and slowly improve, but it is getting to that point where like they just need some bloody wins.
All right. Well, Legacy may not be able to take too much from that win, but Mammoth can, and we got one of those boys at the desk right now with Pyra. It's triple.
Thank you very much, Nick Boy. Yeah, so you guys snapped this losing streak. You finally get a win after what has been a disappointing couple of weeks for you. And how does that really affect the confidence that you have going into the following weeks here in the OPL?
Well, going into this week, we expected to win both games, and we did say it's going to set the pace for the rest of the split as well. But, 1-1, you can't be too happy about it, but at the same time, you can't be too upset about it.
Yeah, does it feel a little odd? You're kind of like, well, you expected to get back on your feet and you're kind of like half there. Is that just like a building moment for you guys, or how does it feel really?
It feels like finally things are coming together. I know it didn't look like it yesterday, but this past week of practice has been the most productive we've had in a long time.
Okay, so you now pick up a win. It was a very slow and kind of methodical win. You sort of grinded it out against Legacy here. Is that the style that you guys just prefer to play, or is it something that you feel like you've had to do recently?
No, I actually think that's kind of a stage thing. Like, if you look at us in practice, we're not like that. We're not super slow and just no risk whatsoever. And that's something that we're working on right now.
Okay, and where do you think that has to really come? Because you're a mid laner and you love playing these like bursty mages, the likes of Zoe. We've seen you play Kassadin as well. Is it like, do you need to like be the one personally stepping up to make these big plays, or is it just like everybody needs to get that killer instinct?
I think it is a bit on everyone. I'm just gonna say the mid meta sucks right now. You got Lissandra being picked every single game.
Fair enough.
And the champion's literally impossible to kill. So that's why.
So
that's my excuse.
no defensive champions. Get all the explodey mages in there, and you'll be happy.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Well, we'll get right on that, telling Riot to fix it. Back over to the couch.
All right. Now, I didn't say it before. I'm with Jake. I never respect wordplay. And wordplay should not be respected
true,
at all.
true.
It's too clever, and clever is the death of funny. Remember that. The only time I'll accept wordplay or a pun is in a title. Punny title, can't go past it. For a segment or
Yeah.
something, fantastic. Day-to-day life, making a joke, you're an
Only-
animal and you deserve to be put down.
As the host of the OPL, only I, Nick Boy, am allowed to do it, and nobody else
It's
can.
very true.
Yeah,
That's exactly
okay,
what I'm
fair
saying.
enough.
All right. Speaking of things we're allowed to do, we're allowed to make pigs today for some reason. I love the fact that all three of us approach
Yes.
this differently.
Yes.
We did, indeed.
And having seen on the way down Bryce's sleeper winner
Sleeper
right
OP,
here.
Yeah,
I was
I had
not
a plan,
expecting it. Yeah.
and I executed my plan.
All right,
so,
do you wanna show
the
everyone?
moment of reveal, I'm holding it. Okay, I will note, I had the classic cosplay fatality down the stairs. Everything was falling apart. We noted all we got was bloody blue tack and cardboard, and I've got a bloody shiny pig. Look at this. I've got
good.
I've got 4 legs. I've gone 3D. My ears is a little bit cute. Look at my nose. I have a 3D nose. Look at the light
He's got
shining off that
layers on
bad
that
boy.
schnoz.
That's
Oh, he's
we've
lost a leg.
We've lost a leg.
We've
Look,
got 3 legs.
yeah, we've got a 3-legged pig.
Sorry, that,
Look, sometimes it just goes wrong, but I am happy with my performance.
I mean, I have
You
to
did
say,
not draw those eyes.
Yes, I did.
No, he did the whole
They
thing.
watched
you
it.
really?
Yes, I
Yeah,
drew
yeah,
those
yeah,
eyes.
he did.
I don't want to. My pig does not have like a fin. It's not a shark pig. It's
Agent
just,
Mindstar said,
had
did
your
that
leg
pig
back.
just poop?
it
Yes.
just went woohoo.
Here's the thing. For so long, we did not know what he was
No.
doing. Because for so long, I would say 90% of the time, you had a tube
And a cone.
And a cone.
Yes.
And after that, you made the cone. And my favorite part of the whole night was you made the cone and then you screamed, "I'm the smartest man alive. Now I need to Google what a pig looks like." And then it turned into this, and I'm
Yes.
actually really impressed.
Masterpiece. I am Pigcasso. Haha. Yeah. Wordplay. Pyrotechnics.
Zed was taken
I hate
21
you.
says, how long do I have to watch this until I get my XP? A bit longer, sorry. Very good pig. Great pig work.
He did stand up. I'm attached to the couch, but he's only got 3 legs, so he's kind of. Oh, has anybody played the game Pigs?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a board. Yeah, I
the
made a
board
pig.
game with the, where you roll the pigs.
Yeah, you roll the
Yeah,
pig.
yeah.
So that's like 25 points or something, right there.
Right there. All right, Rusty.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through my creative process here. I've passed this to you because it can be seen on the camera. This is my starting point, right? That's what I was trying to recreate as a pig. Now, I'm the worst at arts and crafts, so
Did you draw this, or this is a...
that's
That's a Google.
I Googled it.
There's a
I Googled
URL
it.
at the top of the screen.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
true. Yeah, right.
that's
So this
definitely
is
Googled.
educational.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went from that. I tried to make this. Might have to go on the Nick Boy camera. That's
we
my
go.
pig, right? Recreated.
That's
now,
a
I was really
big
happy
pig.
with that, so I tried to go one step further, and I used the cardboard. See if that one can be seen now.
That's
There
pretty
you go.
good.
That's not bad.
That's my
Hey.
pig.
That's not bad at all.
Pretty
It's not bad. And
Yeah.
then I was like, you know what? It's a bit small.
Yeah,
And
that's
you know,
true.
we had a whole lot of cardboard, so why would I just have a small pig?
just
I'll
make
stop you
a
right
whole
there.
lot of pigs.
We did not have a whole lot of cardboard, but sure.
Okay, we didn't, but I made a big pig.
That's pretty good.
That's a good
For
pig.
someone
Can you hold
that
it at an
sucks
angle
at
behind?
arts
Is it,
and
oh,
crafts,
so yeah.
that is pretty good.
Now, this is a pig doing a spready to the gods, right? So
Is he
he's,
upside
he's on his
down?
back with his
Yeah.
legs out all fours.
Okay.
He's got some nipples going on, and just in case, he's got a bum. But that's my pig.
That's fantastic.
It's just really hard to see.
Yeah.
It's shiny.
We'll take
also-
pictures of him for social or something. Because Rusty's, I feel like Rusty actually sleeper he's done well.
Rusty's
May I
all those
touch your
arts
pig?
and
You
crafts
can
really
touch my
paying
pig.
off.
Okay. He's got like a little pig. You can see you can kind of see the outline.
Oh,
Where's
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you can
okay.
see the
Yeah.
outline of
There's
the
a
pig.
little pig
Yeah.
inside
He's got
the big
it's like
pig.
a mama pig.
It's a mama pig.
Yeah,
fair,
it's
that
got a
was
little
this.
baby pig.
That was this drawn on
There
top
we
of the
go.
cardboard.
That's
I didn't know it
his
would go
pig.
through.
I really like this one as well because I feel
Oh,
like
Rusty
Bryce
also
is-
made 2 pigs.
I made, yeah.
Well, yeah,
I did. I made
and
2 pigs.
Bryce went for like a build, which is
Yeah.
very impressive. Your pig has a lot of personality.
It does.
Like that feels like it could be,
Yeah.
the star of an animated TV show on SBS 2 or something.
I'm willing to take that.
Yeah,
Like,
Where's
All right.
Nick's pig?
Yeah,
That's a good question.
Nobody I saw like me and Rusty was just building it on the table, and Nick was doing it in secrecy.
That's true.
So
It's not.
what
It's
is
not
it?
impressive.
like we
It's
know
not
where
impressive
he's
at all.
going.
Like it's not a big deal. It's not. Like it's not. I'm not even trying to build it up. But I do need help.
okay.
I need, and I'm gonna nominate Bryce to help me.
Okay, what do you need, Matt?
Do you have
So-
to unlatch
Yeah, do I have
yourself?
to unlatch? I'm tied to the
No, no, no.
couch.
You can be latched.
Oh.
So I went.
You are no.
Oh, you're not.
I went cosplay pig.
No.
So I made this for you,
Wow.
Bryce, you have to put it
You
on.
had to put it on.
and blue tack for Bryce's ample forehead space. So that goes on the front.
Oh god.
Bryce,
Stick it to your glasses because it'll stick to your
yeah,
glasses.
hold on,
go.
let's
Oh,
do
that's
that.
good,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is smart.
And then I've also got a tail. So the tail
That's not going to stick.
At will.
will go. Yeah,
this
that's
is
good
ruining
stuff.
the
That's
integrity.
good. You're gonna
of my
tuck
glasses.
this into the back of Bryce.
Okay.
That's not happening. You can put it in my collar. In my collar. Up
No,
here.
your butt's
Okay,
not
so
up
it's
there.
like your head is the entire pig body. You look like
I don't know what I look like.
you look like a serial killer in an episode of Black
What
Mirror.
up? It's me,
Nick won.
Nick.
Yeah, I
Nick's
think Nick
pig.
wins.
There you go. bud.
Because his pig is Bryce.
There you go.
There we go.
All of a sudden, my day's
Wait,
not
can
that
Zach
bad.
wear it? Let's go. On your way, mate. Let's trade glasses for a sec. Let me.
I can't see through yours, but
Yeah.
like I said, doesn't
There's a
matter.
piece of paper in front anyway. Oh, you're blind. Oh, okay.
Now you know what it looks like,
Yeah, I like
guess.
that. That's,
Good look. I love
bad.
I love the fact that we went with 3 completely
yeah, you
different
made a
pigs.
game.
Yep.
You made a drawing.
Yep.
And I
Do you want
bloody
your
built a masterpiece.
You did
your
like
glasses?
Sculptures by the Sea. I did
Yeah.
a horror movie, and you
I did
have,
primary
and you've
teaching,
created a
arts and crafts.
Totally. Well, no,
It's
but
like-
you've also created a franchise. Like
true.
if the OPL goes down, then we've got a backup with the kid show that you're building.
Pepe.
I'll
Pega
VO
pig.
the pig.
Pega.
Big.
I love it. All right, there we go. We built pigs. That's all we needed to do. Next game.
Oh, there's my leg.
We
Can
got
I
more
just say,
Oh yeah.
before
please.
you go to the next game,
Please.
compared to the painting segment,
Yeah.
that was a great success.
This is proper art, yeah.
More of your segment needs to be to that level.
Here's my counter to that. We're still talking about the painting segment. The painting segment has genuine cultural impact. Like, we have not stopped talking about the painting segment. It happened nearly half a year ago.
I need counselling from looking at that painting.
Because it was too good. You were like, I'll never achieve anything like this, and I have a son.
Did you guys end up actually giving that away? Because I thought you tried to at the
Yes.
finals.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I gave it away to a very unlucky person. They were forced to take it home, I assume, on a tram because we're in Melbourne. That's just what they do there.